What's up guys, Intelitech Studios here, and today we're going to be doing the review of the Dirt Devil PowerMax Pet Bagless Upright Vacuum Cleaner. As you can see, I have two examples of this machine in front of us right now, and you can tell that this one in particular has, well, never been used. It's completely brand new. This was one where Dirt Devil just sent me a new one because I went to get a new handle for my Dirt Devil Breeze, and it was unavailable. They don't have handles for these, even though I bought the machine brand new twice, in fact. This is my second one. The first one I returned because I assumed it was just a fluke, but nope. Apparently all the Dirt Devil Breezes that particular Big Lots had handle issues, and handles are not available on Dirt Devil's website. So I bought a new handle on eBay, and Dirt Devil just sent me this instead, so I went to return this handle, and I paid $20 for the handle, and then whenever the handle was delivered, eBay charged me $33 for the return, meaning that I was out an extra $12 for not having the item, because that makes sense. So at that point, I literally paid $12 to throw the item away. And I would have gotten better off if I had just taken the old handle or just taken the replacement handle and just thrown it in the dumpster. Because I would have lost less money, let alone if I had just kept it. And eBay didn't tell me that. But the good news is Dirt Devil gave me this. Because I cut the cord on that, at least that's what they think. Thankfully, I know how to reattach a cord. And once they had me cut the cord off of it, they sent me this one, basically to prove that my old one was useless, because that's totally not disgusting and wasteful, but whatever. It's Dirt Devil. These things are designed to be thrown away. So, with that in mind, you can tell this one is a bit of an older model that otherwise is the same, has the same attachments, at least it's supposed to, and also apparently the air is not on. This is supposed to be 72, and it's not. There we go. Okay, so this machine in particular, I got this from a vacuum save video, and whenever I got it, it was completely plugged with what appeared to be bedding for a hamster cage, pine needles from a Christmas tree, and essence of a certain material that I can only describe as, well, it's legal now here in Illinois, and in other places, not quite. So, yeah, smelled like that on the inside of the vacuum. So apparently some hamster-owning late Christmas celebratory stoners had this machine, busted off the cord hook, and threw it away. So, yeah. But the machine is otherwise in working order. I've replaced no other parts on the machine because it didn't need it. Honestly, it probably needs a belt. In fact, it does need a belt because whenever I was using it, the belt was a little bit screechy, so I probably should put a new belt on it, but I'm not sure if I'm honestly going to bother. Because frankly, this machine retails for $73. That's what Dirt Devil charges for it on their website. At least they did whenever they sent it to me, because it showed 73 and then crossed out to 0. So, also the box was destroyed for some reason. So, is this machine worth $73? And the short answer is no. The long answer is hell no. And the extended answer is probably not. So, let's get into it. So, I'm mostly going to talk about this machine, but, these two machines are very similar. I just realized the handles are actually a little bit different. I didn't even notice that till just now. This one's at, more of an angle. But yeah, you can see that it's got this handle release back here, which is always a pain in the neck. It always is, really hard to push. And the newer the Dirt Devil is, the harder the handle is to push. You pretty much have to be wearing shoes in order to press it correctly, which is why I'm wearing shoes, even though some people complain about me wearing shoes in my own house. But this handle's a little bit different, but they mostly feel the same. It feels cheap. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I mean, this handle definitely feels a lot better than on the PowerForce Compact. The PowerForce Compact is a very similar machine you can get as far as in the same general price range. You know, this is usually $70 and the compact is usually around 40 or 50, but this handle definitely does work a lot better than the compact, although not nearly as good as a Shark, and you can tell that that's what it's trying to emulate. It's trying to be like a budget Shark sort of hose setup, and it doesn't work all that well. I will admit, when compared to something like Abyssal for around the same price, this does have a lot better reach. However, that is completely destroyed by a very bad flaw that I will describe in a minute. But you can see, whenever I take this cord off, one thing that's nice is that both the... Well, actually, no, never mind. It's just the upper cord hook that has a cord release. I don't know why for a brief second I thought it had both, but the upper cord hook does turn, so in this case, where this little hook is busted off, you can at least wrap the cord around the handle, which is what I resorted to doing here. And you can tell, normally I clean out my machines after using them before reviews, but in this particular case, I didn't, just because I wanted to show what it looked like after some extended use. This is pretty much the closest you can get to being my daily driver in recent days, alongside the Shark Navigator Deluxe. And of course this cord is going to be very difficult at wanting to come off. Probably best to just pull the handle out and then pull the cord off. Yeah, this is a pain, but either way, this machine is... As far as its usability, it's very lightweight. That's nice about it. It is very lightweight. Yeah, I can't really get mad at it for this, because this is obviously due to user neglect making the bottom thing break off, but frankly, I think the vacuum should have been strong enough to withstand that in the first place. And of course it has these two clips up here and down here, with a very sharp turn that goes into the dirt container. So let's look at how this works. So the air goes up through this extra long hose into this back spine, into the channel that goes up into this handle, twists around where it frequently gets clogged up here, and goes down, down, down to the bottom of the sea and into this opening, with connectors very similar to a Shark hose connector. So TTI has just not done a great job with this machine. Some people will say, oh, but is it at least an improvement to some way on the old Dirt Devils? Just like, you know, the newer Bissels, while collectors don't like it, there are some advantages to it. Right? Right? Well, not really. Because, yes, while this does have decent hose reach compared to something like a Bissell, you press this handle release button down here, and this little handle pops off. Now, at first, it looks like, oh, you have a nice amount of reach, but that's as far as it goes. Which is still not bad. That's honestly not horrible. And you have the extension wand, so you can put on that extension wand and actually get a decent amount of reach. This hose just doesn't stretch long enough. That's the issue. This hose just doesn't stretch long enough. It looks stretchy, but it doesn't stretch all that much. There's not a lot to it as far as its ability to stretch. But it is there, and it does sort of do the trick. When you compare that to something like the Dirt Devil Breeze, where you pull the hose off at the bottom, and you have, well, not a lot of reach. And also, this is not nearly as accessible as the newer Dirt Devil, so that is an advantage. You can just pull the handle out, and that's it. Whereas on this newer style Breeze, you have to pull the hose out from the bottom, and it gets stuck like it is right now. Or with the old style Breeze, which I guess I might as well go ahead and go grab, you actually have to completely take the hose off and attach it to that lower hose. But look at this Breeze. Air goes in, goes up here, and into the dirt container. That's it. That's where the air path goes. Look at the Swivel Glide. The Swivel Glide is pretty much identical to the Power Force. You've got this long handle right here that you pull off, and, well, I should clarify, the older Power Forces and the Power Glide, obviously that more so competed with this Power Glide, Swivel Glide. It goes in, goes up through the hose, and into the bag, just like Abyssal would. Now, again, what do these do? These go up, all the way up, out, and then back in. Excuse me. But of course, the advantage to that is that you just push a button and the wand pops out. When you have two hands, of course. So there are still kind of an improvement that Dirt Devil has made to the Breeze line, which is obviously what this replaced, because, well, whenever this didn't work, this is what they sent me. It's equivalent price. The PowerMax is basically what replaced the old school Breeze and Featherlight twin set. And there's also, from what I can tell, no bagged variant. So if you want a bagged Dirt Devil, then you just gotta hope that you can find a place that still has the bagged version of this. Spoiler alert, they don't. But I will be getting one of the bagged versions of these soon, off of someone else who I bought the who bought the Orc parts off of me. I'm going to buy his Dirt Devil Featherlight whenever I get the money, at least. So we can at least see that, the last example of a bagged Dirt Devil. But if you want a bag machine, you're not going to get that with Dirt Devil. Abyssal is pretty much your only option in the budget space, because Dirt Devil and Eureka have mostly abandoned bag machines. Even Hoover now is starting to move pretty much completely away from bag machines. Abyssal is at least somewhat entertaining the idea of having bag machines, because they at least have a few options to choose from. Like this. And the filtration on these Dirt Devils is not great. With the newer version, the one that you're likely to find in stores, it has a setup that's actually not all that unsimilar from the old style Breeze. The old style Breeze, as you know, just had a simple filter in the dust cap. Very simple. And one improvement this has made that the older Breezes have done, which I hate, is the outward channel that goes into the motor intake is through the back, not through the bottom. I despise whenever vacuums have motor entrances that are straight down like this. Yes, it seems most simplistic, and it seems like the most efficient. But it's not, because when you empty a bagless machine, you're getting dust all over that intake. Then when you put the container back on, all that dust is getting on the bottom and getting sucked into the motor, thus making the motor not last nearly as long, or at the very least making the pre-motor filter get completely gunked up. And that's not good. What this does better than the old Breeze, but not as good as the Breeze Cyclonic, is that, well, this filter exits through the top. And it actually has this little sticker here, which is kind of cute. I actually kind of like this. It actually shows you how to maintain this, and it has a nice little sticker that'll hopefully get the attention of average consumers that don't read crap. And when we open this, which is really hard to do with one hand, if I can even see which direction this is supposed to go, and if my stupid phone will focus, we can see that I can turn it like this, and there's that filter. It's a 2-layer filter, identical to the older Breeze Cyclonic, only instead of it being mounted in the motor intake, it's mounted up here, and not all that off from the filter setup on the older Power Force bagless models. So again, that just clips in and turns like that. If I can do this on camera, which it seems that I cannot, snap this in place. Let's see, can I snap this in place? Yes, I can. And then, again, parks right here, but there's no actual motor intake. It's all back here, goes into the motor just like this. So that works a lot better. Also, this is a lot easier to replace than either of the older style Breeze machines, because obviously the older Breeze had the button up here that you had to push, and you needed 2 hands to release it. And this newer style Breeze, I don't know if it's a defect, but you have to push this at a specific angle really hard to get this to come off. And it's not exactly the most user-friendly thing in the world, even though it looks more simplistic than it actually is, because you have to push it at just the right angle. Otherwise, you can see it doesn't clip in or out. So you got to be careful with that on the old machine. One thing the new machines do that's really nice compared to the old machines is the dusting brush is a lot better quality. One thing I don't like is they don't give you any sort of dedicated crevice tool anymore. It's just a 3-in-1 combo tool. Although I will say that this dusting brush quality is surprisingly nice. It's not as good as the one on the Elite Rewind Plus or even on the Wind Tunnel Max XL Pet, but it is decently nice. It's better than the Bissell dusting brush, but not as good as the Hoover dusting brush. And like other machines in its class, you have no sort of brush roll shutoff, but you do have a multi-position height adjustment. So, yeah, you got 4 position height adjustments. Don't use this on hard floors. It does have a squeegee on the bottom, which thankfully doesn't impair its ability to work on carpet, but it doesn't pick up all that well on floors, just like everything else in its price range. Again, if you're comparing this to a Bissell, then the Bissell would do a little bit better in that regard. Again, if you want to use any of these machines on floors, get a hard floor brush that attaches to the hose, and you're all set. Another thing that, well, is a little bit annoying with this is the cord hook. This cord hook is way too low to be really any useful at all, and it falls out super easily. Granted, there's some other machines that have issues with that too, but doesn't make it any less annoying. So, and someone's messaging me right now about buying one of the Sharks. So, with that said, let's go ahead and run this thing, and we can see how well it runs. And this is, see, is that the high carpet setting? Yes, it is, because it was on hard floors. So, we can run this thing. There's also a little filter in here that's supposedly HEPA. Actually, it is a HEPA filter. Whereas, I believe on the newer version, I don't think it has that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the newer version just has a little pad filter. So, you actually lose the HEPA filter. But the system's not sealed anyway. The filtration on this is awful as expected for a budget machine. So there's not really much to say about it there. If you want good filtration, then either buy a more expensive vacuum, like at least something like a Shark or a Dyson, or just get an air purifier to supplement the horrible air this thing will be pushing out of the machine, especially if you have pets. Another thing is that I wanted to show how this older version has this weird cyclonic setup that's set up this way. There's no filter in here. There's instead a set of filters before it exits the dirt container, which is still, it goes through the spine in the back, but then goes to the filters, then to the output. And it's really bizarre. This, as you can see, gets plugged up all the time, and it's a pain to clean out, and it's very irritating. So thankfully, they have actually gone back to the filter setup on the newer style, which I actually do prefer to this nonsense. So I could tell for a brief time they tried to do something better, and I applaud them for at least trying to do something a little bit different. This is kind of unique how it's mounted on the side like this, but it didn't work all that well. As you can see, stuff just gets clogged in it and crammed in it, and that obviously makes performance not the best. So, I love the red color. That's classic Dirt Devil. Nothing to complain about there. Looks like a toy, because it basically is a toy. So, let's give it a run. On the bright side, it smells good because Riley vacuumed up some of that carpet cleaning powder, which I never recommend, but I hate this thing, so I don't frankly care if it gets plugged up with carpet cleaning powder. But you shouldn't do that because it will ruin the machine. But, yeah. Uh, it could be worse. I mean, that's the best slogan I can give it. It could be worse. This purple one is definitely an improvement over this. And this one's also supposed to have a little turbo brush. Another thing I forgot to mention is that when you have the turbo model and you're trying to use the wand, the extra weight on this is really uncomfortable and makes it annoying to use. So if you're going to use the wand, I would pop off the turbo brush and set it aside, which defeats the entire purpose of having an onboard turbo brush. But I guess it is better than not having it because, again, you can just pull this holster off and not have it on board if you don't want it to be, so that's not a big deal. But would I recommend these machines? And if you really want the sort of extra hose length, I might be able to recommend it, but here's the thing. It has a problem where the extension wand doesn't actually seal properly. Meaning that when you suck up stuff, it gets stuck on the outer rim between this and this other wand. And if you're sucking up anything, it gets stuck there and it gets really gross and annoying. And you pretty much have to wash out the wand, and that pretty much defeats the purpose of vacuuming it up in the first place. So with that pretty much invalidates the extended reach that this has. And I've never seen that before on a vacuum, where the own attachments that come with the machine don't work properly with it. It just amazes me. So if somehow you can get past that glaring flaw with the attachments not fitting properly onto the own machine, it's not like they're going to fall off after a little amount of usage, but you can tell they just don't seal correctly. And again, I have two of these, so it's not like I have a defective one. They were made in different years. One was used, one was brand new. So that's not really a sort of rebuttal. It's just something that's pathetic on TTI's part. And you can tell TTI has been neglecting the Dirt Devil brand. They've been putting all their eggs in the Hoover and Oreck baskets, and I frankly can't blame them. I expect Dirt Devil as a brand to mostly go away in the coming years. They definitely aren't what they once were. And this machine is definitely an example of that. It's not the worst machine in the world. If you are buying this for a cheap machine that has the wand that's a handle, I would go for this over a PowerForce Compact. But that's, not saying a whole lot, because you would hope that would be the case considering this costs almost twice as much as the Compact. So, with that said, again, I wouldn't recommend it to the majority of people. And plus, I'm pretty sure Eureka has a vacuum that's similar to this anyways. So I'm going to try that out. And, it's around the same price. And if that has a better handle system than this does, then there's really nothing good about this. If that Eureka ends up impressing me, then I see no reason to purchase a Dirt Devil full-size upright vacuum in the year 2020, because I don't know of anything else on the market by Dirt Devil that would frankly impress me. So it's sad to say, but this Dirt Devil PowerMax pet model is not on my recommended list. If you need a vacuum for around this price, go for a Bissell. Maybe, if you're willing to chance it, go for a Eureka. I haven't tested one of the modern Eurekas yet. Maybe they're just as bad as this. Maybe they're better. I don't know. I haven't tested one. So, with that said, that was my full review of the Dirt Devil PowerMax Pet, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have one of these machines, let me know what your experience is in the comments below. Did you have a different experience than I did? Maybe you had the same one. Let me know. Anyway, guys, this is Inteltech Studios signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.